Web part connections are a way to connect different web parts that are based on lists or libraries, connect them together to help provide a great filtering tool. So in this example, we've got a web part page that was blank, and I added the company contacts web part to it. I added a tasks web part to it, and I added a project documents library to it. Now, the task list and the project document library, I added the field related contact to it, which was a lookup field, and it pointed to the company contact list. So each of these items that I have, like in tasks and in that document library, are related to and connected to a particular contact record in the company contacts list. So in a situation where you want to put something like this together and you want to make it easy for your users to see related items belonging to those contacts in a single page format like this, this is one way that you can do it. You can add web parts to a web part page and connect them together using web part connections. So let's see how this works, and then we're going to get under the hood and show you how I did it. Let's say we have Microsoft and I want to only see the tasks or project documents related to Microsoft. Now I could have easily gone into the tasks folder and done a filter on the related contact field, and the same with project documents. But what this does, it allows me to put all this information visually on one screen. I'm not creating anything new, I'm just pulling the web parts into a single page and allowing the filtering capabilities to kick in using web part connections. So if I wanted to see about this, there's no tasks or project documents that are associated with this particular company. Let's see about this one right here. So you get the idea. It allows you to select an item and show all of the related items in the different lists or libraries within my SharePoint site. So let's go ahead and I'll show you how to set this up. Site Actions, Edit Page, and you can see I could have put a header right in here. I have a header web part. I could have put the content editor web part right in here and added some instructions or something along those lines to reflect what type of information is going to be on the customer dashboard, but I chose not to. So in the left column web part zone, I added the company contacts web part. Let's click on here, add a web part. And here it is right here. I would have clicked on that checkbox and said add. So I already did that. And the same with tasks and project documents. I simply clicked on add a web part. I made sure that I clicked on tasks and then project documents. Those were the two web parts that I wanted to add to this page. And again, those are web parts that are created, the associated web parts that are created with the project document library, the task list, and the company contacts list, because every time you create a list or library or anything like that, it creates an associated web part. So keep that in mind. Now, one of the important things in making all of this work is that you need to have the field that's going to connect the items together, like the related contact field. They have to be visible in the view, in the web part view on the page in order to make the connection. That's really important. If I didn't have the related contact field visible in this view, when I went to set up the web part connections, it's not going to see that field. So that field has to be visible on the page in the web part before you could start setting up the connection. Another thing that you have to remember is if any of these lists, like this list here, have custom content types, this filtering is not going to work. Kind of came as a surprise to me, but I just wanted to let you know that up front. So if project documents or tasks had multiple custom content types, I would not be able to use it in a web part connection scenario because it's just not going to filter. It looks like it's good, you won't get any errors, it's just not going to filter the way you think it's going to filter. So let's show you how these connections are made. First of all, we go to the web part that I want to use as the way to provide filtering to these other web parts. In other words, I want to make this the controlling web part, whereas I select an item in it and it controls the filter on the rest of the items. So under the Edit drop down, I'm going to go down to Connections. I'm going to say Provide Row 2. Notice that both tasks and project documents are checked because I already have the web part connections set up. So let's click on Tasks. And right now it's saying, hey, it's already set up. Do you want to remove the connection? Which I don't, but I'll just let you know how this works. Select a column in the company contacts to filter tasks. It's the company field in company contacts. And select a column in tasks that contains company data. It's the related contacts field, here it is, in the task list. And if I select this here, notice there's only 3 fields to choose from. Well, you know there's more than 3 fields or columns in the task list. The reason why we're seeing those 3 fields or columns is because they're part of the view before I started the web part connection process. So again, a really important factor. I'm going to hit cancel because I've already set it up, but otherwise you would click finish. And we would do the same thing for the remaining web parts on the page that we want to connect to the company contacts list. Here's project documents. Very simple, same thing. Where's the information in the company contacts list that you want to filter project documents on? It's the company field in the contacts list. So I'm going to say next. I can choose related contacts again because it's in the view, and normally I would say finish, but I'm not going to change anything, so I'm going to say cancel. And guys, that's really all there is to it. It's as simple as can be. I think the trick is figuring out how you're going to use this feature. I'm going to say exit edit mode. And I wanted to show you Microsoft has put together a really nice article in their Office Online area on connecting data in web parts. And if you scroll all the way down, we've got an overview. Okay, it gives you an idea of what you're dealing with, how to connect them, basically going over what I just showed you. But I think the really fun part of this particular article, let's scroll down here, common types of web part connections. It gives you a whole list of examples on how you can utilize this feature. Master and details, which is kind of like what we did. The contacts list was the master, and the detail lists were the tasks and the project documents. Let's see, let's scroll down some more. Summary and details. If you have a summary list of data and you need to display the detailed information that produces the summary data. So that's when you would use a situation when you would use web parts, and this is how you would set this up based on this example right here. So again, I don't know about you, but I love examples and samples. Gives me ideas, great places to start, gets the old creative juices flowing. Parent and child. I would use this to display a list of data, parent, and for each row there is one or more related rows, the children that you want to display in another list. A lot like the contacts list that we did, but this is great for an orders scenario if you're tracking orders in your SharePoint site. Let's see. Search and filter. Use it when you want to enter data such as search or filter criteria in one web part to display the results in another web part. Here's an example for using it for calculations. Although you can often calculate data inside a web part, sometimes you may want to combine 2 web parts to make your calculations more flexible. Gotta hand it to Microsoft. You can use it for alternate data views. Viewing your data in several different ways can help you understand implications, trends, and relationships. You can pass lists, rows, and cells, or fields and parameters, from one web part and display the data in an alternate view. This is how you would use that, and this is how you would set this particular example up. Scroll down. And then we have the last one is data enhancement. You want to augment basic data about people and places to make it more interesting, appealing, and useful. See how you can add pictures into the scenario? Again, I just really think Microsoft did a great job for providing examples on how you can use web part connections. But take these ideas and think about how you can apply them to your situation and your organization, and then just get in there and play. It's really fun. And again, it's very easy.